Local and live, covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk Tristate with Tiny and Katy.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Tri-State, powered by HomeRight Windows and Doors, the right choice winner in the 2024 Best of the Tri-State Awards.
Back for round two, we have our friends from the Franklin County Library System, Alice Aaliyah, Andrew Vickers. Thank you guys so much for coming back and talking to us today. Now, the last time you were here, you were wrapping up or right in the middle of your reading challenge for the fall, and you were just telling us now you're moving into the December reading challenge. Walk us through what that's going to look like.
Yeah, sure. We have reading challenges several times a year. Summer is obviously our biggest one and the biggest participant we get as far as kids. But we did one in October. We had a great turnout for that. It's all online, so we have different challenges. The app is called Beanstack, and it's available on our website. So we'll have our winter reading challenge, which ends up December 18th. So be on the lookout for that. We'll post it on our social media as well, so follow us there. And it's for all ages, from kids to 0 to 99, you say. So complete the reading challenges. We always give out free books for hitting certain milestones, and you can be entered to win some great prizes. And for adults, we've had stuff from Kindle Fires to pizza ovens to gift cards. So it's a nice program, and it's a fun way to get the community involved.
How do you like go on every night and log your minutes, or how do you do it?
You log your minutes. There are also often other challenges, so it's like bake something new. So I think like last year for the winter challenge, it was bake a new recipe and share it with a friend.
Katy.
Yeah, so there will also be something else, like, I don't know, maybe drink hot chocolate. You can
there you go. That I can participate in.
It's not only designed to get people reading, but to get people active. I mean, we have things like visit your local park, so we want people to be aware of their local resources as well, or take your kids on a hike or something like that, make a new recipe. So it promotes a healthy lifestyle as well.
And then the Franklin County Library System, how many libraries does that encompass?
5 libraries, 5 buildings.
Okay.
So Coyle Free Library in downtown Chambersburg is our biggest library. Then we've got Grove out in Fayetteville, and Basore in Greencastle. And then we've got Blue Ridge Summit and St. Thomas libraries. And we also have our mobile libraries. So we've got 2 vehicles, one that kind of traverses the entire county, and one that does the same, but mostly for children, so daycares.
Do you guys find that this time of year you kind of put extra effort in over the holidays because the kids are home from school for a few weeks and they might not keep up with their reading as they're spending time at home?
A little bit. I would say probably, and I don't know, Andrew's the librarian, but summer is like the library's heyday. So that summer reading is out of control at public libraries all over the country. The winter, people tend to hunker down, but I do think there are probably quite a few families who are looking for something to do, people who are looking to get out of the cold. So kind of, what do we do? It's a dreary day. We can go to the library.
I just remember when I was an educator, I would say to the kids, I know you're going to be off for 2.5 weeks. I know it, and you're excited, and it's Christmas and New Year's. I get it. But don't forget your reading. Here, take as many books as you want, and then because they lose it so quickly, And then they would come back, and we would have to spend a week or two just building back up the reading stamina and trying to get up to the 20 minutes that we can sit and read to self. So I didn't know if that was something that you guys really pushing a little more with the reading challenge over the winter or not. But tell us about your annual appeal, because that's something that's happening currently as well.
I'll leave that to Alice, since she's in charge of the whole thing.
So it's about to kick off. We just got our mailers printed. They're about ready to go. We were trying to wait until the mailboxes were a little less full. So those should be coming out in the next couple of weeks.
Are you saying that our mailboxes had things in
They
them?
might have been a little more full than usual. Mine was.
Trying to think what that could be around.
Yeah, exactly. So we didn't want to get lost in that. And we're hoping this is positive mail that comes into people's mailboxes. So every year we have an annual appeal. That's our big fundraiser for the community to be able to support their public libraries. So I think we maybe talked about this last time, but every homeowner in Franklin County pays a library tax. It's about $23 a year. That's
nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And we need a little more to do the work that we do. So we have an annual appeal fundraiser. It goes out online in April, and then we send out a mailer in November. And we hope that the community appreciates what libraries do, and we hope that they can support us financially as well.
I appreciate what you do. I really do. Tiny, I don't know if you had a chance to
No, I don't appreciate what they do. I really thought that's what you were going to say, Tiny. I don't know if you appreciate it or not.
You let me complete my sentence before interrupting me. I don't know
along.
if you had a chance to see what I had printed out for us earlier, but I was perusing and seeing all the different classes that were offered. And I don't know if it was specifically at the...
What this is?
I know it's really small. I'm sorry. I don't know if this was specifically at the Coyle Library or if it was all of the locations, but just as I was seeing, I saw guitar lessons, German classes.
This is a day? In
This
one
was
day?
This was like a couple hours.
Wow.
I think that's Saturday at Coyle.
Yeah,
That's what
I
you're
mean,
looking at right there.
It
That's
was
crazy.
There was tutoring, story time, books and babies, circle time. I mean, that's all of the libraries, right? That's not just Coyle, is it?
Yeah, because I see the Basor, Coyle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Grove.
so that's
Okay.
that's a day at the libraries. Yeah.
Day at the libraries. Yeah.
Okay, that's
And
still amazing.
Are these all free services?
Yeah, absolutely.
All of them?
There's stuff like that going on all the time in our libraries, and we have classes, just like our winter reading challenges, classes from essentially birth to, as far as you can get. And the library is a place to promote community. So we do a lot of these things to bring people together, to bond over common interests, and to be that community hub that we want to provide people.
What is a class that's offered that personally you find the most interesting?
Personally, that I find the most interesting. I don't know. I find all the STEM programs incredibly interesting. We have a lot of STEM tools, kits, activities that are even available for families to check out and bring home. So we do programs with these like 3D printing and robotics programs and things like that. And I find those incredibly interesting. Would I take part? I'm probably more likely to take part in yoga at the library.
There's yoga
Wow.
at the library? Stop
They
it.
didn't make your list.
Let me get my glasses on. I did make it very small. That's crazy.
Yes.
So, and
Yeah.
Alice is also a member of our silent reading group. Did you want to?
Right, yeah,
Please.
so that's an amazing program. We actually meet at Gear House in Chambersburg.
The brewery.
Yes, at the brewery. And so it's called Study Hall or Silent Reading, and it's just an hour of quiet where you can sit and read whatever you want to read. Basically, the last 5 minutes, we kind of, if you want to talk about what you're reading, you can. If you don't want to, there's no pressure.
You had Katy at brewery.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's nice that they allow us that space. It's free for us to have the program there, which means that it's free for people who want to participate. And
Some people, and I like, when is this?
that is, it's the first Wednesday of the month
Okay.
at 5 o'clock.
5 to 6.
Yep.
Okay.
You
What
should go.
Yeah.
Go,
well, I unfortunately I'm on the air entertaining the Tri-State with this guy until 6 p.m.
We can make it.
I'm sorry. You'll be on. But I like that because I personally, I go out a lot by myself, and I always want to take a book and go and sit at the bar and read, but you can't. It's too loud. I mean, as much as I want to block out the noise, I just can't. But that's a great thing to do. Sit down, have a beer, read a book, nice and quiet. I love that. I had no idea these programs were all offered through the library system.
I don't think anybody would know what an hour's piece would actually feel like. It may seem like nothing.
It's odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels long sometimes, and then this last week it felt really
in all
long
the
at the
right
beginning.
ways.
Yeah, exactly. It was really it was sometimes it's really lovely to just sit with other people and do your own thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So there's yoga, there's silent reading at the Gear House. And then you were talking about 1,000 books before kindergarten.
Yeah.
Is that another
Talk about that,
challenge?
or-
Sure. It's
Okay.
it's less of a challenge than kind of I guess it's sort of a challenge, but an
It's a
incentive.
milestone.
Yeah. So our youth services coordinator for the library system, her name is Sarah Applegate, and she sort of put this together. 1,000 books before kindergarten. They do it, I think, at many public libraries all over the country, but we hadn't been doing it. It's an incentive to get kids prepared before they start school. So we've worked with organizations across the county, like United Way, Keystone, Wellspan, to try to get books in the hands of families that have very young children who haven't started kindergarten yet. She's working with obstetrician offices to try to get people started, before their kids are even born, and then
the hospital as well.
Oh, wow.
Yep, the hospital, and then pediatric programs, and then trying to look at other places where people are taking their young children to try to help them get prepared, so that we can provide free books to these families and information on how to utilize library services. Then there are, different milestones that you reach where you can get different things, like a box of crayons or a pencil box. I think she's got maybe backpacks. Don't quote me on that.
Those are they can get very pricey. That's amazing.
Yeah. But so then ideally, before your kid starts kindergarten, they've had a good head start to get there. So
sounds great. We talked a little bit ago about the annual appeal that you have coming up, your big fundraiser. If you don't know this, I understand, but do you have a ballpark of what the annual operating expenses are for Franklin County Library System? I think that would help to put some things into perspective.
Annual operating expenses. I'm trying to think offhand. It's 2.8, about 2.8 million.
Okay.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So
wow.
because I think a lot of people, when you said about $23 a person,
Yeah.
I realize that doesn't go far, but I was not even aware it was that much.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people may not have even been aware that there was a quote-unquote
Any
library
kind of
tax
store.
Right.
that was even
Yeah.
baked into the local taxes,
Right.
which I think is great. It should be. It
Right.
should absolutely exist. But that $23 is not going to get you up over, the 2 million
Right.
mark you need to hit. So it's very, very important.
Yeah, that library tax, $23 per household, is about 2/3 of our funding.
Yeah.
And the rest we receive from the state, and as Alice mentioned, then we have an annual appeal and some other fundraisers
Do you
throughout the year as well.
do you typically do you have a good track record of meeting the goal? Do you always get there? Seems like.
I've only been here since February 2022, so I can't speak for previous years prior to that. But I know in the last few years we've hit and exceeded our goal. And
Wonderful.
We've been very,
Yeah.
very
Yeah, that's great.
appreciative of the support
Sure.
that we've garnered from our community.
And walk us through some of the other programs that you have, because there might be something that appeals to everybody. I saw there was tutoring. There
Right.
was Zoom tutoring.
Yeah, there's tutoring. There's a homeschool group that meets at Coyle. We have all kinds of like DIY classes. I know there's one coming up at Basor where you can make your own like polymer clay earrings. She does a lot of stuff as far as like making like facial scrubs or lipstick or lip gloss, things like that that are really fun and more involved. Bookmaking classes, things of that nature. We have music clubs and classes at different locations. Some of them are like at Grove. We have a pick and party where people get together with string instruments and just play and have a good time with each other. And we have one over at Basor as well where they do more of like songwriting and trying to actually, create songs together.
We have writers groups. We have, I attended one last year. It was like a charcuterie board class, how to make, and it was before the holidays, like how to make one of those. Yes.
I think there needs to be a section on your website called "Yes, you can do this at a library."
Yes.
It's just
It's amazing.
It is.
really
It's
is.
cool. We have a cookbook club that is now at 2 branches. So it's kind of like, hey, let's do, say we do one cookbook, which is how it started. So it started with like, we would all check out the same cookbook and we would make something out of it. And then we would get together and eat it.
Oh,
And
wow.
so, yeah, so like you kind of have lunch together, all based out of this cookbook.
Do you have to make something to participate in the eating?
Let me rephrase. Do you
We
have to
would
make
allow
something
people to
edible?
come in if
Just
they
to talk
didn't.
about it,
Yeah. We usually would let people come in. I did it at Basor, and
An
it was kind of
unbiased
nice.
opinion, perhaps.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. But it's a nice way to build community and to meet people who are interested in the same things and who either making the food or eating the food.
I don't think people realize
No.
the extent of what is offered at a library beyond books. I mean,
Right.
there's so much.
Honestly, there's so much that goes on across our 5 locations and outreach that sometimes we don't know the extent
Right.
of the
Yeah.
program.
Right.
And there may be a program that passes like, man, man, I didn't know that was happening, and I would have went to that.
Right.
So,
Sure. I was trying to see if there was any kind of, I've been really wanting to learn sign language. Do you know if that's anything that any of the libraries offer?
Come on, come on.
I know we talked about it, but I
Yeah.
don't know that we have someone offering
I
it.
think we've had the idea of maybe partnering with some like Wilson students
Okay.
that do that to bring that into the library system. So that could be a potential down the line.
If you're looking for suggestions, I would be front and center for that class. That's definitely
Okay.
I
one
think
that
there
I
would be a market for it.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
People would love to learn those kinds of things. That's great. Well, website, where can people find you?
fclspa.org. So check out the website. It's got all of our activities. As you mentioned,
Yeah,
there's a
there's
Google
a
Calendar
ton.
on there. You can sort the Google Calendar by location. So if you're like, okay, I live in Blue Ridge Summit and I know I'm not going to go somewhere else, you can search for what's going on there. But you can also look at what's going on everywhere, so that if you're up for a road trip, you can see what's going on at our other
Perfect.
branches.
Thank you guys for coming. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and there's tons of online resources on there. So if you're a big reader and into ebooks and audiobooks, there's several.
I was going to ask you about audiobooks. Yeah.
Several different platforms on there that are great and absolutely free, as always. So when you're on their website, make sure you check out that. When you search the catalog, it'll even come up and tell you, you search for a specific book, it'll say the book's available here, the audiobook's available here. So
Got it.
it's all inclusive, which has boosted our circulation, which is
The moral of the story is get your library card.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Book it to the library.
Yes.
On that note, we're going to take a look coming up here at News and Sports, all powered by 2A Arms LLC, 2A and PA, Firearms and Freedom.
If you'd like to be featured on an upcoming episode of Let's Talk Tri-State, call 717-597-9200 or email letstalk@921thegoat.com.